689 is getting ready to pass. That is requiring paternity tests before you sign the birth certificate. Because, when people do paternity tests, 1/3 of the time, they end up not being the father. And if they start testing everybody, that number can only go up, not down. It's going to be dramatic. And right now, they're starting to also add in things like, maternity fraud is a crime, and a punishable crime.
I hope y'all ready. We're going to get into it. Today. We have a very interesting topic to talk about. And this is our first time doing an Energy Complete blog review. The reason why we're doing this is because we had a blog that we did and it went viral on Google, and so we needed to do a review about this video and kind of do a follow-up. And I know you guys already seen the thumbnail, so let's go ahead and get straight into it. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to play a video here that went viral on TikTok. All right, let's go ahead and play this on House Bill. It's going to say House Bill 2689, but the real bill is House Bill 2698. They kind of transposed the 8 and the 9, so keep that in mind.
Guess what? House Bill 2689 is getting ready to pass. That is requiring paternity tests before you sign the birth certificate. Because, when people do paternity tests, 1/3 of the time, they end up not being the father. And if they start testing everybody, that number can only go up, not down. It's going to be dramatic. And right now they're starting to also add in things like, maternity fraud is a crime, and a punishable crime.
All right, so we're going to fact some of this. So let it just play out, and then we're going to go ahead and go into the facts of the matter.
So guys used to go to jail for not paying child support on a child that wasn't theirs, because the state wants to get their money. Because if there is no father to pay for the child support, somebody has to pay for it. So they push it onto the nearest person that could be a father figure. And they're actually starting to jail time the ladies for maternity fraud, because it is such a rampant crime.
So I haven't seen anything that said maternity fraud. Everything that I've seen so far says paternity fraud. So we're going to dig deeper into that. I don't know if paternity fraud and maternity fraud is supposed to mean the same thing, but we're going to go into this. Let's watch this video finish playing out.
So I don't agree with a lot that they do in politics, but I agree with this one. The hustle is over. The scams are done in the state of Tennessee. And I know some of y'all feel like, well, why should we have to do all of this? They should trust me, because y'all be lying. The women be lying. And if you know that this is his baby without a shadow of a doubt, husband, boyfriend, baby daddy, it don't matter who it is. Let them go on and get that paternity test, sis. If you on the up and up, it shouldn't bother you. And for all of those women out there faking pregnancy to scam men, ooh, y'all big mad now, ain't you?
All right, so let's go ahead and go into the language of House Bill 2698, just to kind of bring some sense to all of this. So first thing, this is the General Assembly for Tennessee, and first thing I want you guys to recognize is this House Bill 2698. This was in 2022. All right, and so keep just putting it out there. This bill did not get passed into law. All right. There was something else that got passed into law, a different paternity bill, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So for House Bill 2698, you see, it looks like in the House it was deferred to Summer Study and Civil Justice Committee, and then the Senate Bill 1777, which is the same bill as House 2698, it was referred to Senate Cal Committee, and then the General Assembly it ended after that, and this bill died in that 112th General Assembly. All right, so this particular bill did not pass. I know that I've been personally seeing a lot of videos on TikTok and Instagram regarding House Bill 2698. And I just wanted to kind of clear up some of the confusion that we might see, because there was a bill that did pass. And in order to go into that bill, let's go ahead and play this video that I seen somebody referring to on TikTok.
But a bill passed in the Tennessee House of Representatives may end up sending thousands of unexpected mothers to jail for life. Let me explain what I'm talking about.
And before we go any further, let me just say, nobody's going to jail for life or for, thousands of years. We're going to get into what the actual bill says that actually did pass and was signed into law this year, and what the penalties are for that law. So
you see, during the wake of the whole Democrat expelling scandal that happened in the Tennessee House of Representatives, another bill kind of slipped under the radar that isn't talked about as much. I'm talking about Tennessee House Bill 0253, a bill that now criminalizes unexpected mothers. Let me explain how it works. So let's say you're a mother and you're with your partner, but then for some reason you end up cheating on your partner and having sex with someone else while you're with your partner. Happens more times than you think it does. Let's say then you have a kid. You may now go to jail for anywhere from 10 to 25 years for not letting your partner know that the kid may or may not be his.
So keep in mind, we're going to fact check the time. All right. There is some truth to what he's saying, but we're going to go into that.
Let me explain. If it turns out that the kid was not his, then you have just committed an act of fraud, according to Tennessee House of Representatives. And now you can go to jail for anywhere from 10 to 25 years. But you're thinking, wait, what do you...
Hold up, though. I'm wondering where is he getting this 10 to 25 years from? I mean, that's interesting, first and foremost, but it's funny. So I don't know. Maybe I think he's just trying to go viral, doing it for the clout or something with his TikTok. But it's definitely not 25 years. It's not. People go to jail for murder, for that amount of time. So I don't know what's
by life in prison. You forget that Tennessee is actually a 3-strike law state, which means that if this is your third offense, you could be put in jail for the rest of your life for simply not letting your partner know the kid may or may not be his. Just look at how some Tennessee House of Representatives, senators talk about the bill, and it is horrifying.
There are too many different questions about what ifs and how do we accommodate the traumatic effect on the child of knowing that they were at the core of a debate that sent mommy to jail. If that doesn't traumatize a child, I don't know what does. At that point, the child has neither a father nor a mother for at least 1129, because that's the penalty that goes along with this.
So, House Bill 253. Let's go ahead and pull up House Bill 253. All right. And first thing that you want to notice is this all occurred in 2023 with the 113th General Assembly for Tennessee. And the second thing that you want to take notice is that this was actually signed into law by the governor on April 24th, and it was set to go into effect in July on the 1st, 2023. So House Bill 253 and Senate Bill 0331 are the same bills, And so let's take a look at that language. You see, it was referred, or this bill was sponsored by State Senator John Lumbergh. He's a Republican. The previous bill, House Bill 2698 that we looked into, that was sponsored by a Democrat, Antonio. Forgive me, I can't remember his name, but his name was Antonio. I can't remember his last name, but this particular bill, sponsored by John Lumbergh, and here you see that it is relative to parentage fraud. So let's just take a moment to look at the language in this particular bill and see what was actually signed into law by the governor. So this says a person commits parentage fraud who, one, seeks to legally establish another individual as the biological parent of a child. So if, hypothetically speaking, a woman seeks to legally establish another man as the biological parent of the child in the person's custody with the intent to deprive the individual of property or prevent the child's actual biological parent from exercising parental rights to the child, and the person knows or reasonably should know that the individual is not the child's biological parent. So if hypothetically, if the mom did that and she knew that, or she reasonably didn't know, then that's parentage fraud. So I'm gonna read that one more time. So a person commits parentage fraud who seeks to legally establish another individual as the biological parent of a child in the person's custody with intent to deprive the individual of property or to prevent the child's actual biological parent from exercising parental rights to the child, and the person knows or reasonably should know that the individual is not the child's biological parent. So that is pretty deep. We're going to take some time to unpack that a little bit just to kind of see what type of hypothetical situations people could end up in. And then it also says, or a person commits parentage fraud who seeks to be legally established as a child's parent based on the person's status as a biological parent of the child, and the person knows or reasonably should know that the person is not the child's biological parent. So it almost kind of sounds like it puts the onus on, the hypothetical situation, even if the man signs the birth certificate and he knows also, if the mom knows and the dad, the man knows, then the man is also committing parentage fraud as well. That's interesting. And then it also says parentage fraud is a Class B misdemeanor, which is only punishable in Tennessee by up to 6 months in jail or a $500 fine or both. So there's no 10 to 25 years. And then the subsection does not apply if or when the child involved was conceived as a result of an act that will be aggravated rape, defined in certain sections. Or the child involved has been or is in the process of being adopted, or the victim of the offense was the defendant's spouse at the time of the offense. So, interesting. All right. That's very interesting. And this actually did go into law, signed by the governor, and went into effect on July 1st, 2023. So, to unpack that, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this new law that went into effect in Tennessee. Parentage fraud. How is this going to affect, the signing of the birth certificates? And what's interesting is that we saw in the previous assembly, General Assembly, with House Bill 2698, which sought to have DNA tests done in order to be able to sign a birth certificate. That did not pass. That did not get signed off by the governor. However, this particular bill, which is criminalizing parentage fraud and in a sense kind of defining what parentage fraud is, this actually has a criminal offense tied to it. And for, such a while or a long time, I'm not sure that we've had a clear, defined definition for parentage fraud. And I have to look to see if that's any different from paternity fraud. But parentage fraud and paternity fraud, I think paternity in that same context might mean the same thing as parentage. Because this is all legal talk around trying to establish biological rights in parent-child relationships. I would like to know what you guys think, how this is going to affect the signing of birth certificates and the disclosure of women to a man, before he actually signs a birth certificate or before she actually seeks to have him sign the birth certificate. Because if she seeks to have him sign the birth certificate to legally establish another individual as the biological parent, she's committing fraud. A Class B misdemeanor, 6 months, up to $500 in 6 months. So, and then a man, he will be forced to think about if, he has any reasonable doubt if he's the biological parent. If he has any reasonable doubt that he's the biological father, then it will probably be in his best interest to get a DNA test, because if he seeks to be legally established as a child's parent and it's not reasonably expected that he is the parent, even if he thinks that he probably isn't the parent and he goes to sign the birth certificate, he's committing fraud, parentage fraud. Just from my personal opinion on this, I really think that we need to define things a lot better than what we've done in the past. And to have this clear definition of parentage fraud, and then to actually bring forth the wrongdoings that are brought about in this type of situation. I don't even want to use the word the wrongdoings, but the mistakes or the imperfections that are in this situation. I guess what you would call them are the rights that the child has to their biological parents. And I guess the secondary right is for the disclosure to the man if he should know if he's the biological parent. I think it should be a right for people to know who they're biologically connected to in a parent-child dynamic. So that's my take on it. That's my opinion. I wanted to clear up some of the some of the confusion around the different House bills that were passed, what was passed and what was not passed. Anyway, down in the comments, let me know how y'all like this video, Energy Complete blog review, where we talk about challenging narratives and thought-provoking concepts and topics and things like that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you put a thumbs up on the video. That way I'll know and I'll be able to give you guys some more content. So peace, love, see y'all next time.